guys, welcome to my channel, All Things Militia, where I discuss a lot about what's going on in the political world, but also topics that pertain to everyday life in general. If you are subscribed to my channel, thank you so much for your support. I appreciate you guys. Don't forget, if you see a video that you like, to give your girls a thumbs up. Leave a comment down below because I want to get your thoughts on what I'm discussing. Share the video, and if you're new to my channel, welcome. You can do all those things, and don't forget to subscribe if you're interested. So you guys, I wanted to come on here real quick tonight and discuss this issue with Iran that's been going on now for some weeks. Initially, we were told that it was about them trying to get a nuclear weapon and that they could not have a nuclear weapon because of their radical beliefs. And, you know, as of yesterday, Easter Sunday, President Trump went under his Truth Social and he posted that Tuesday, tomorrow, will be Power Plant Day and Bridge Day all wrapped up in one in Iran. There will be nothing like it. Open the effing strait, you crazy bastards, or you'll be living in hell. Just watch. Praise be to Allah. President Donald J. Trump. Now, you got a lot of people coming out in the left wing, bought and paid, for media, of course, that's criticizing him, saying how he was being disrespectful to the Muslim religion because he included praise be to Allah. But if you know President Trump, you know he has his own sense of humor when he's making statements like this. And I'm not trying to make an excuse for him or anything like that, you guys. I'm just saying, if you've known him for the past 10 years in politics, he has transformed politics because of how straightforward and direct he is. He's not politically correct, is what I'm pretty much trying to say. But yeah, he's been trying to get them to open the strait. Iran has closed off the strait after we bombed them. And so I had Googled, trying to see what use the America has with the strait, and it says the United States actively uses the Strait of Hormuz, if I'm pronouncing it right, maintaining a significant naval presence to ensure the free flow of energy supplies and maritime trade. Although U.S. oil imports from the region have declined only about 2% of petroleum consumption in 2024, the U.S. relies on the strait to stabilize global oil prices and protect allies. So, okay, if you rely on it for that purpose, then yeah, it would be important. It also says that the military presence and security, the U.S. Navy maintains a constant presence, such as through Operation Sentinel, to prevent disruptions and ensure freedom of navigation. And strategic importance is as a critical choke point where 20% of the world's oil passes. The U.S. considers it vital for economic stability, even if not directly importing large volumes. So yeah, it has some form of significance to us. But check this video out of what this guy said about why it would be difficult to open it. And this is what President Trump is calling for them to do.
Here's why it's so hard to reopen the Strait of Hormuz. The Strait of Hormuz is a key strategic waterway that has been effectively blocked by the Iranian regime for weeks, creating a massive economic impact around the globe. The Strait of Hormuz is only about 21 miles wide at its narrowest point, and this poses a real challenge for any warships that want to come through it, mainly because you have these mountains that slope up from the southern coast that are a perfect location for the Iranians to put missile emplacements that can rain down fire on any kind of vessels that are transiting through the strait. In the water, you have several different kinds of mines that are both on the surface and underwater. Then as you move into the coastline, they have speedboats that are operated by the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. These are dangerous because they can pop out from pretty much anywhere. They can attack both commercial and warships. The U.S. military knows that clearing the Strait of Hormuz is a big gamble, so they've been hammering away at Iran's missiles there. Anything after that would require a complex and risky approach. It would mean clearing mines, it would mean watching out for speedboats that can come at vessels coming through, and also for drones, both on the water and in the air. and potentially seeing Marines seize one or more of these small islands that are right along the coast in the strait. Now President Trump seems to be leaving that risk up to the rest of the world to take care of.
Go to the strait and just take it. The hard part is done, so it should be easy.
But that's going to be a real challenge for these countries that don't have the firepower the United States has. Here's why it's
Well, that's interesting, you guys. Let's check out this other clip. I don't want to go there yet. Actually, I wanted to pretty much talk a little bit about the Iranian war because, you know, a lot of people were, or we all are against war. That should be the last resort. And I personally, when I first heard that President Trump was going to target Iran, you know, after he was given the, you know, president of peace characteristic, because he was pro-peace, the first president to cross the line in, was it South Korea? Never had a U.S. president cross the line over there, and he was, you know, trying to end war. And then when I heard about him going into Iran, I was like, what is this all about? And I heard a lot of people say, well, Iran was always threatening America. They chant death to America. But you had other politicians formerly, before President Trump came along, that were against Iran getting a nuclear weapon as well. And this is how it all initiated, reportedly, that President Trump was trying to keep them from getting a nuclear weapon. But check out what Obama had to say back in the days about Iran.
To the issue of Iran, yep. As long as I'm president of the United States, Iran will not get a nuclear weapon. I made that clear when I came into office. We then organized the strongest coalition and the strongest sanctions against Iran in history, and it is crippling their economy. Their currency has dropped 80%. Their oil production has plunged to the lowest level since they were fighting a war with Iraq 20 years ago. So their economy is in a shambles. And the reason we did this is because a nuclear Iran is a threat to our national security, and it's a threat to Israel's national security.
Well, there you have it. Okay, so why President Trump is getting so much criticism from the left, when you have the leader of the left, Obama, you know, that was pretty much for the same thing. And let's check out the former corrupt senile president's take on it as well.
The United States is clear. We will not allow Iran to acquire a nuclear weapon.
Okay, so he had that to say. The United States is clear we would not allow Iran to acquire a nuclear weapon. And then look at this Hillary, whatever, what she had to say.
So here's my message to Iran's leaders. The United States will never allow you to acquire a nuclear weapon. As president, I will take whatever actions are necessary to protect the United States and our allies. I will not hesitate to take military action if Iran attempts to obtain a nuclear weapon. And I will set up my successor to be able to credibly make the same pledge. We will make clear to Iran that our national commitment to prevention will not waver depending on who's in office. It's permanent.
She pretty much had the same stance for whatever reason, which not for whatever reason. I mean, if a country is chanting death to your country, of course, you don't want them to have a nuclear weapon. Okay, so that's just given. But it's just interesting that all these people had the same stance regarding Iran getting a nuclear weapon, but now that President Trump is actually, you know, making or taking actions to prevent them from getting a nuclear weapon, there's a problem. Okay, you had Obama, who reportedly sent Iran $1 billion in cash during his presidency. Okay, then you had this woman here, Hillary, that reportedly sold 20% of the U.S. uranium to Russia, which is an ally of Iran. So it's just interesting, you guys, how, you know, these people said the same thing that Trump said, but now that has taken action, he's the one that's getting criticized. But let's check this out. Furthermore, what I was talking about with Obama.
A mistake. He should have done it, and other presidents should have done it. Obama should have done it. Obama was worse. Obama gave them the absolute right, title, and interest, gave everything to Iran. You remember that? When Bibi Netanyahu came over and begged him not to do it. He gave Iran the right to have a nuclear weapon at the highest level within a very short period of time. And I terminated that agreement as soon as I came to office.
So there you have it. You know, these politicians, they say one thing and then they do another. It's just interesting. But one thing I will say about President Trump is that he backs what he says. He's not the typical politician, whether you agree with him or not. And let's just go furthermore into this, you guys, because when I heard that they were chanting death to America, at first I was like, no, you know, Trump, no, we don't want another war. What the hell is going on? Because in my opinion, war is all about money and resources. It's never about, you know, fighting for democracy and trying to help people be free, and even though that's what we always get, you know, told by our media whenever our country goes to war. It's all about money and resources, because just like in the Bible, it says no man goes to war unless he first counts the cost, or something along those lines. I mean, if I don't have anything to gain, why am I going to fight? So, and if I don't have anything to gain, not you. Maybe if you were my family member or someone that I was personally close to, I may consider fighting for you, you know, but other than that, I'll pray for you. But yeah, let's look at a little bit of this when they were chanting death to America. Death to America.
گله میکنن که چرا ملت ایران میگن مرگ بر آمریکا. اولا من این رو برای حضرات بزرگان آمریکایی روشن کنم. مرگ بر آمریکا یعنی مرگ بر ترامپ و جان بولتون و پومپئو. مرگ بر اینا یعنی مرگ بر سربازداران
rulers. We have no problem with the American people.
مرگ.
That's all I wanted to know, you guys. Because I was like, why death to America? We ain't did nothing. We don't have no control over this, sir. I feel like wars should really be fought, you know, like they were back in the days when kings called for war, like presidents called for war. Anyone that's at the head and calls for war, they should also be on the front line, in my opinion, you guys. Because that would cut out a lot of this ego, back and forth foolishness. If you yourself have to go fight, you're going to consider first before you know, instigate, for the most part. But yeah, I'm glad he made that clear, that it wasn't specifically to American citizens, but it was to the rulers. But he did specifically call out President Trump and a couple of members of his cabinet, you know, during his first term. And, you know, during his second term, this is what happened.
David, the president announcing Khomeini's death in a lengthy social media post. Just now, I want to read through to you what the president is saying. He says, Khomeini, one of the most evil people in history, is dead. This is not only justice for the people of Iran, but for all great Americans and those people from many countries throughout the world that have been killed or mutilated by Khomeini and his gang of bloodthirsty thugs. He was unable to avoid our intelligence and highly sophisticated tracking systems. And working closely with Israel, there was not a thing he or the other leaders that have been killed along with him could do. The president goes on, David, to repeat the claims that we heard him make overnight shortly after this attack for regime change. The president saying this is the single greatest chance for the Iranian people to take back their country. The big question has been, what does that look like? How does
you guys, now I understand why he was killed. I mean, if you're specifically calling out, because he said it, you know, he said it doesn't mean death to America, it's death to American rulers, and he specifically stated President Trump's name. And so now I see why President Trump specifically eliminated him, because it's like, it's either you or me, you know what I'm saying, and I'm a bomb first. So yeah, it's just interesting, you guys, what's going on in the world. But let's take a look at this final clip.
President, you called yesterday in your Truth Social, you called the Iranians crazy bastards.
True.
What is your response to critics who say that?
I don't care about critics.
You
What is
didn't
your
know?
response to critics who say that it is your mental?
Hold up. what is your response to critics? And Trump said, I don't care about critics. Like, what type of question is that? If he cared about critics, he wouldn't even be able to. He's been 10 years nonstop criticism, 10 years nonstop persecution, 10 years nonstop BS. You think this man cares? He would have been done quit if he cared. I mean, I personally respect him because it's no way in the world if I'm a billionaire, I'm going to put my latter days out of all days. I'm going to use my latter days to try to fight for this country. Okay, I'm going to be somewhere on an island or a private resort living it up, you know, enjoying the rest of my time. But for whatever reason, it was laid up on him to fight for our country, you guys. And I salute him for that. Because we were headed down the wrong path. Men being women, women being men, you know, military, colors of the rainbow. I mean, it was just a lot going on. Children being able to decide their gender at 4 and 5 years old. People being censored left and right that were speaking out for right. You know? Yeah, he don't care about no darn critics.
Should perhaps be examined as this war continues.
I haven't heard that. But if that's the case, you're going to have more people like me, because our country was being ripped off on trade, on everything for many years until I came along. So if that's the case, you're going to have more people.
And so, and Trump has been saying the same thing consistently for years. If you look at some of the videos that he did, or interviews that he did rather, years ago on the Oprah Winfrey Show, Phil Donahue Show, probably 20, 30 years ago, this man has been talking about how our country has been ripped off over the years. And it makes sense because our dollar is steadily declining. The value of the dollar has dropped drastically over the past 30 years. And we see how all this fraud, waste, and abuse has been found with our corrupt politicians just pretty much pimping us. Okay, and then they want to target a man that was already a billionaire before he came into office, when many of them got rich after they went into office. And you're supposed to be a public servant. You're supposed to be working, U.S. representatives working on behalf of U.S. citizens. But we are becoming poorer and poorer, and they become richer and richer. And then they want to target this man that's trying to do something for America. Of course, he can't do it all. One man can never do it all. But, you know, you got to respect them. That's all I have to say. And as far as Iran is concerned, hopefully they'll open up the strait, because I would hate for them to have to witness this. Tuesday will be Power Plant Day and Bridge Day, all wrapped up in one in Iran. There will be nothing like it. Open the effing strait, you crazy bastards, or you'll be living in hell. Just watch. Praise be to Allah. President Donald J. Trump. Well, that's the end of that, you guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comment sections, and I'll see you later.